Okay, hello. Right, I'm going to talk to you about charges of ions and the different types of charges there are. It's an important thing to remember that if an ion is positive, we call it a cation. If it's negative, we call it an anion. So, a lot of ions, their charges you can work out from where they are on the periodic table. So the elements here in group 1, they make ions with a 1+ charge. And that's because they lose one electron when they bond. So lithium will always be Li+. Okay, the lithium ion. Group 2 lose 2 electrons and they become 2+. So you're always going to have a periodic table in an exam or with your coursework, so you don't have to learn those ones off by heart, but you'll probably find you'll learn them quite quickly anyway because you use them so regularly. So lithium, sodium, potassium, all in group 1 make 1+ ions. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, 2+ ions. Okay? But some of them are a little less obvious. If you look at your periodic table, in the D block, that's the bit between group 2 and group 3, we've got, because they're not in an actual group, you can't work out how many electrons they lose. They're all a bit more random and something you have to learn. So a common one is silver. You still see silver a lot in the Unit 1 of this course. And that's got a 1+ charge. Okay, and you just have to remember that silver is Ag+. Zinc is zinc 2+. Okay, these two don't vary; they're always the same. But some of the transition metals in the D block do vary, and so we know which one they're talking about, we have these Roman numerals in brackets afterwards. So copper 1 would be copper 1+. Easy enough to remember. Copper 2 is copper 2+. So we know which copper we're talking about. We have the Roman numeral in brackets. Iron 2 is Fe2+. Iron 3, Fe3+. Okay, so that's easy to remember. So for these ones, if it's written down like that, you don't need to look it up, you don't need to remember it, because it tells you the charge of the ion. Another one, important one that we use a lot is aluminium. That's in group 3, so that's the other side of the D block, and that has a 3+ charge. So all these you have to remember. Right, when we look at non-metals then, non-metals gain electrons and form negative ions. They form anions. So we've got the nitrogen gains 3 electrons to form nitrogen 3-, a nitride ion. Okay, notice how the names change. It's not just nitrogen ion, it's a nitride, IDE on the end. And that pattern follows through. The oxygen goes to O2-, oxide. Chlorine to chloride, Cl-. Okay? So it'll be the same with the other members of group 5, group 6 and group 7 as well. Now these ones are the ones that you've really got to remember. These are the polyatomic ions. Okay? So within here we've got covalent bonds. So the nitrogen is covalently bonded to 3 oxygens. But the whole system has an overall charge, a negative charge. So nitrate, NO3-. Notice it's different to nitride. Nitrate, the 8 implies there's oxygen there as well. So nitrate, NO3-1-. You just have to learn that. You won't find that on the periodic table. You can't work it out from looking at the periodic table. You have to learn it. Then we've got carbonate, CO3-2-. Sulfate, SO4-2-. And then here is a polyatomic ion, which is actually a cation because it's positive. That's the ammonium ion. It's different to ammonia. Ammonia is NH3. This is ammonium. It's NH4+. Okay? So all these is really important that you go away and you learn them. Because if you know them really well, it makes everything else in chemistry a lot easier. Okay?